Welcome to episode 6 of the Shootaround Podcast. My name is Josh.
My name is Mackenzie.
And this week we're going to talk about our power rankings, teams, players, and rookies. But first, Mac, what have we got?
Well, I just wanted to say welcome to 2021.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah, we got through
2020.
Got through a crazy year. Some fared better than others, some worse, etc. Not going to spend too much time on that, but we're excited to bring you some great discussion, some hot takes.
Yeah.
We got our power rankings, which we're pretty excited about.
Very excited.
Also some weekly stuff.
Yep.
So looking forward to all that. But yeah, welcome to 2021. It's going to be a good year.
Superb content year for us.
Superb. That's a great word.
Yeah.
2021 is just poised to be a more positive year, I feel like. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting that energy out there.
It's a pretty low bar to jump over, but we'll see how we go.
Off last year,
yeah. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, just quickly, you can find us on Facebook and YouTube, the Shootaround Podcast, on Twitter and Instagram at Shootaround Pod, and on TikTok is at Shootaround NBA Pod. So get on there and like, subscribe, comment, etc. We are very interactive. We love our fans. We've had some good interactions this week in particular.
Really. Yeah.
So thanks for that. We appreciate the love or the hate, whatever it is.
More viewers every week, which is the main thing right now. So if you haven't already told your friends about us, please post on social media and tell everyone that this podcast isn't bad.
It's not good, but it's not bad.
It leaves it open-ended. People can make their own determination from there. Whether they like it or not is not my problem. What I am here to do is to provide you with some content for you to go, wow, they have no idea what they're talking about. And if I've done that, then I've done my job.
You can speak for yourself. You're really good at that.
Thanks, man.
Like useless facts and stuff.
100%. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
That's my key. That's what I'm here for. I think that's why I was put on earth.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Self-awareness. So we're going to run through some quick news that's happened so far in the early season. A couple fun facts I've got for you guys as well. Unfortunately, we've started this season already with some injuries. I'm not really surprised the way that the training camp and everything was just rushed through. Yeah, it was kind of just accelerated. Yep. But Spencer Dinwiddie for the Brooklyn Nets is out for the season.
That's a tough one. With
an ACL injury.
Yep.
The team is still deep, but he was one of their best shot creators.
Yep.
Probably their third or fourth option in most cases. He was a good starter, but he's going to be hard to replace.
Definitely.
TJ Warren for the Indiana Pacers had a stress fracture. Major offensive loss. That's 20 points per game just out the window. You can't really replace that.
How long's TJ out for?
That's unknown right now.
That's indefinite. Okay.
From what I read, indefinite exactly.
Yep.
Probably longer rather than earlier in terms of return.
Yeah.
And then John Morant for the Memphis Grizzlies is missing 3 to 5 weeks. This injury happened a few days ago.
Yeah.
He's their main offensive weapon. Like he's the engine, and now they have to replace that, which is virtually impossible. They were already missing Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yep.
So, keep an eye out on the Memphis Grizzlies and how they react to that, but I don't know if things are going to go that well there. He was their MVP candidate. Some other stuff I wanted to run through, just on All the Smoke podcast, there was a hilarious quote.
Yeah.
Just wanted to provide this for everybody.
Hit me.
So Steven Jackson was telling a story. So here it is, the quote: "I won a championship in the Dominican Republic. I still get texts and DMs asking me to come back overseas. They love you forever." So he's, showing some love.
Yeah.
And then Matt Barnes hits back, quote, "I think they did that because they want you to come back and check on your kids you left over there." Great quote.
That is brutal.
From Barnesy. That was on the All the Smoke podcast, which is actually really good. Check it out. There's 2 players averaging a triple-double in the season so far, Nikola Jokic and Russell Westbrook. Key distinction, player efficiency rating for Nikola Jokic is 30. Player efficiency rating for Russell Westbrook, it is 15.
Yeah.
So that says a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just for everybody's understanding, like LeBron, Durant, Curry, they all sit around 25 to 30 PER. So Jokic is in that same
top
breath.
tier.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive stuff from
very impressive. And
Joker.
I think the other thing to mention too is the Wizards are 0-5.
Yeah, I mean the Nuggets, as we speak, can't remember if they're playing today or not, but they're 1-3, so they haven't been that much better.
Yep.
But nonetheless, they at least have a victory.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was just some quick news. Now, just regarding some of the games we've seen so far, I wanted to run through some stuff. Did you want to start? Do you have any notes?
I don't actually.
No?
I think it was kind of it's still such a feeling out process. I don't think you can take anything away from these games other than, which players are starting the season hot, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to carry their team through. I
agree with that for sure. There's a really tiny sample size.
It's so small.
Yeah, that's true.
It really is.
But from what I saw, like just yesterday, we saw the season debut of Wall and Cousins.
I really like that.
The Rockets team, yeah. I mean, Harden looks as potent as ever, to be honest. We've kind of been hard on him in past episodes, but he looks pretty good. Yeah. Wall looked okay as well. But honestly, aside from Christian Wood and James Harden, this team's really uninspiring. Like, I just don't see a lot from them. That was my point of view.
I thought Wall sparked a little bit, and
he was okay. Yeah, like he still had the step. He had a dunk that was pretty good.
Speed. He still had that. He got a transition bucket, and he blew past everyone on the court.
Yeah,
and that's when you know that he's feeling confident. I feel like his shots there. He took a couple of pretty good threes.
That's right.
He blew them. So I think he shot 25% from three. But he didn't take that many attempts. So I thought it was a really good debut after coming back from a 2-year
major
layoff.
injury. Yeah. Another person to keep an eye on. He's playing today, and he's played pretty well from what I saw. Luka Doncic has looked weirdly off. And we expect a lot from him because he almost averaged a triple-double last year, like 30, 10, and 10. He's averaging 23, 8, and 6 right now.
Yep.
Weird stat to jump into. He's shooting 9%. We'll round up 10% from 3-point range. 2 for 21.
Yeah, 2 for 21. So today, when I turned off the Heat game to come watch this, he was 3 for 9.
Okay.
From 3.
Improving.
I think he was finding his shot earlier in the season. But the problem with the way that Luka was playing was he was coming out and shooting from 3 straight away. Whereas in the game against the Heat, he went inside to find his shot and find open guys.
Changed his game a bit.
Which is the way he needs to play to get into a rhythm.
Inside out.
Yeah, and then I think later in the season, you'll just see him walk up and shoot threes as soon as the game starts, which is...
I think it's a rhythm thing.
The Luka we know.
He's probably going to play himself into shape as well.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, no doubt. Excuse me. The 76ers have looked a lot more competent this season. They look legitimate.
Ben Simmons took a 3.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Nailed
That's
it.
a good sign.
Yeah.
And it was like confident and no
delay, no question, just stepped into it and took it. I really liked it. Catch and shoot too, so different.
It's amazing because and this has been said probably ad nauseum, he's one of the best talents in the league. If he gets a 3-point shot, it's over. Honestly, potential top 5 player, given 100%. The rest of his skill set.
100%.
So that was good to see. But just last thing on them, Dwight Howard, I feel like he's actually found his niche as a backup big.
I like it
and
too.
It's really weird to think, like, if you watched him earlier in his career, he was a monster. Like, he was the top guy for Orlando.
Yep.
3-time Defensive Player of the Year, which is just that alone is going to get him into the Hall of Fame. But Dwight Howard has turned into like almost a perfect backup big.
Yeah.
Because he just plays his role. He's a good teammate, even though he's a bit of a head case by all accounts. With his little quirks and what have you. But I think he's a good fit for them.
He took a 3 too. He got a 3. So
that's what Dwight does. When he's up 30, he's like, all right, it's my time.
Yeah.
Time to shoot.
I like the fact that so there was a clip that came out. I can't remember which game it was after, but Ben Simmons and Dwight Howard stayed back to shoot threes.
Right.
After the game, which is a really good sign for Ben Simmons, but also for Dwight Howard as a leader in that organization. So it's important that Joel Embiid continues to play at a high level, or he could potentially be on the block, depending on how the season evolves and the way that everything moves on. But I think Dwight has already shown his leadership on that young franchise is.
Wow. Early hot take of the week candidate right there.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to jump into the hot take already. But
no worries. Appreciate it.
I thought it was worth a mention that
it is.
Joel Embiid's level of play has improved since getting a better backup big on the roster.
No doubt, yeah. And the last thing with that is Klay Thompson and Steph Curry need to watch out, because if Simmons and Howard are going to start shooting threes, the Splash Brothers nickname is up for grabs.
Well,
So
I think they're Splash Mountain. Twin Splash Mountains.
Yeah, Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Twin Peaks.
Okay, we'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll practice. We'll come back next week with a name for them.
We're part of the official nickname committee
Please
for
add
the
that to your
NBA.
notes for next week to come back with a nickname for Simmons and Howard.
Do not make a nickname for Simmons and Howard. All right, noted. One other thing, just with NBA teams, the Hawks. They've been fun to watch.
Really good.
Yeah, like
I've enjoyed it.
I've picked them personally. They were my 8th seed. They might do better than that because they have Rondo off the bench, which is like underrated. Gallinari hasn't even been a factor for them yet. Now they're beating poor teams right now. It's still impressive what they've been doing. They're playing the Nets today, which was a great game. Really fun game to watch. That would be an awesome 2-7 series in the playoffs, really, or like a 3-6.
I think 3, even 4-5.
Whatever the case, if they play in the playoffs, that would be.
I really want them to be a first round. Like those two in the first round would really set the tempo for
good
the
test for the
playoffs.
Nets.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Exactly. Test their defense.
Last
thing on them, Cam Reddish has looked a lot better.
Among
other players, but
he
had a bit of a rough go in his rookie year, so it's good to see him getting back on track.
It was really hard to play last year in that organization. They didn't really have any players kind of getting that open opportunity. Teams were just doubling, tripling Trae Young, and then there's no facilitators. Now to bring in Rondo and having more guys on the roster that can distribute the ball. Bogdanovic has looked really good. Even as a secondary ball handler, he's come in when Trae Young just kind of wants a break and has been able to facilitate. So, yeah, they've looked really good, really well balanced, surprisingly good defensively. So, yeah, I've really liked watching them play.
I mean, they're leading the league in offensive rating and net rating as well. Oh, no, that's the Lakers. But the Hawks, their offense is on fire right now. So we'll see if that, regresses a bit to the mean.
But the defense is the most important part for them. I think that's why we both had them kind of either falling out of the playoffs or just scraping in, is because of that defensive side of the ball with Trae Young in the backfield, with Bogdanovic, who are two noted, pretty poor average defenders,
especially
Trae Young. It was really important that they came out and made a defensive impact, and I think Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter have really improved that
and Capella.
Defensive rating.
Capella's a good addition
as well.
Good interior defender, of course.
John Collins has looked really good this year. That's
he's a stud.
You have to mention that.
He's dunks and threes.
Unbelievable, man. He's
one of the best at that position.
Yeah.
I like him. Just wanted to quickly note the Wizards are 0-5. Westbrook is resting in their next game, so things are looking good.
Yeah. Looks like they could actually scrape out a win today against the Wolves. So
yeah, that's a good team to get a win against.
Yeah, especially without Westbrook, it shows how.
I mean, hopefully
that impact, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hopefully, and Raul Neto, that's another one to mention. He's actually looked really good this year.
Good backup guard.
Surprisingly good off the bench. He had a 25-point game not too long ago. So
he might be stealing Ish Smith's minutes as the backup guard.
Yeah,
poor Ish Smith. Yeah, Wizards being 0-5. I think Scott Brooks is going to be on the hot seat all year. I mean, the fact that he still has a job is partly, I think, because they have Westbrook and they have a previous relationship from Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything for that franchise aside from maybe picking up intensity in practice. Their training camp looked crazy, but it hasn't translated to anything.
Yep.
So goes to show what that does for you.
100%.
There's definitely better options out there anyway. So I just think if they get a new coach, it pushes the team continuously in the right direction. They've had a great offseason, adding Denny and what have you, who's had a pretty good rookie year so far.
He's looked really good.
But 0-5, they need to make some changes sooner or later, I think.
I think just adding more minutes to those rookies that they've got on the roster is the most important thing. Take some away from Westbrook and Beal and move on from Beal if, it comes to that, is just start again. What are you going to do? Finish out of the playoffs again with a player like Beal on the roster when there are trade candidates out there.
They're going to explore it.
They have to. They have to.
Yeah.
I think that's a given. They have to move on.
That's fair. One last thing, just in terms of what I've seen so far. I was listening again to All the Smoke podcast, and Rajon Rondo was on there. He was talking about how his 2 seasons actually were with the Lakers. It reminded me of how important he was to that team. Like he played lights out in Game 6 against Miami.
Yep.
I don't think they would have won the title without him.
No.
And that made me start to maybe overthink how important he is to the Lakers, and if Dennis Schroeder is going to be able to replace that as the guy in the backcourt, but only time will tell. I just think in terms of his basketball IQ, his alpha personality, his leadership, accountability, I mean, aside from Draymond Green, in terms of that role player, he's one of the best in the league. So
he's also
good for Atlanta.
A much better defender than Schroeder.
I agree with that.
Schroeder has played a lot of off-ball early for the Lakers with LeBron running the point.
Yeah.
So it's a very different dynamic so far for the Lakers. I think we'll get into that a little bit more. But
better shooter, but at the same time, not the defender. A little bit younger, which is a bonus. But yeah, Schroeder is a good player, like not taking away from him.
Yeah.
But Rondo brings a different dynamic, and I was wondering what you thought of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think Rondo would be my pick if I was, building a team now. If I had to pick between those two, I'd take Rondo. Only for, he's had his issues in the past, but for, the leadership side of things, the ability to get people the ball, the defensive impact, the length, he's just a better all-round player than
He's
Schroeder.
complete. He's a complete player.
Yes, he is.
Even at this stage now with his shooting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was that. Now, hot take of the week. I've got a good one. I'll start us off here, Josh.
Yep.
I think DeMar DeRozan for the San Antonio Spurs, former Raptor, has the best collection of poster dunks of any NBA player ever.
Yeah. Okay.
All time. I mean it. I've got the evidence to back it up. If people want to discuss, I'm happy to do that. But his resume speaks for itself.
Yeah.
This has been inspired by the Harrell dunk.
Yep.
But I've thought this before. Even like last year, you had a dunk on Chris Boucher. That was nasty.
What we might do is upload the collection of clips that you got. We'll put them all up into.
I'm happy to do that.
Into a montage, and
it's ridiculous.
People can make their comments as they wish.
Absolutely.
I would argue LeBron, but
he's got some good ones, no doubt.
But yeah, let's put that together, put it up online, and see what people think about that one.
I'm in.
I have us picking the wrong Euro player for MVP. We picked Luka Doncic to start the season. We both picked Luka Doncic. Nikola Jokic is the current MVP for me to this point of the season. No joke. He has been playing lights out.
He's been amazing, yeah.
Averaging a triple-double. Leads the league in assists as 30, a 7-foot center.
30 PER.
Yeah. And their record at the moment isn't any indication of how Jokic has been playing.
I agree.
So yeah, that's my pick. Jokic for MVP. That's the new one. Get on that.
Okay, that's a pretty hot take. I'll give you that one.
Thanks, man.
All right, performance of the week. This is given to the player who had the best individual performance, usually leading to a victory.
Yep.
But yeah, you can start us here.
I actually had John Wall returning to the NBA.
Wow.
As the performance of the week.
Interesting.
Only because of how good it was seeing him back on the court.
Yeah.
And I think it was a win for the entire NBA.
Fans.
It was a performance.
And the NBA.
Yeah, it was just a performance, like in general, to see him back on the court, running full court, beating guys off the dribble. It was just great to see John Wall back. And yeah, his shooting looked all right, as I said earlier. It was just really good to see him back on the court.
I don't hate it. That's a good one, actually.
Thank you.
Good to see Johnny back. Johnny boy. My performance of the week was a little bit more obvious, I think. Jaylen Brown had 42 points in 3 quarters, actually 29 minutes of play. He was on pace for 56, which would have been one of the highest scoring outings in Boston Celtics history.
Yep.
But nonetheless, he didn't make it through the fourth quarter because they were blowing out the other team. Yep. He shot 15 of 21. He had 7 threes. He was just lights out, man. It was actually a lot of fun to watch. Somebody on Twitter said he's the best player in the Celtics. I think that's absurd. That's ridiculous. But we're not going to get into that. I think it was Kendrick Perkins. But anyway,
cool.
of course it was
Kendrick Perkins. Yeah.
Perk.
Yeah.
Anyway.
AKA James Harden.
And yeah. James Harden in 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was performance of the week. Next up, play of the week. I'm going to probably maybe surprise you with this one. There were a few candidates, including the DeRozan dunk on Montrezl Harrell.
Yep.
My play of the week was Derek Jones Jr. demolishing LeBron James's shot with a block.
Yeah.
I jumped out of my seat when I saw that.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Like, I already knew Derek Jones is one of the top 5 athletes in the league.
Yep.
But seeing that block not only reminded me of how athletic he is, but also LeBron's kind of lost a step, and that's not shocking.
Yeah.
But in the past, he probably would have dunked on the other guy.
Yeah.
But Jones just caught up to him and was like, just get out of here.
He's one of the best defenders in the league.
Good pickup for Portland.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It's great to see him getting the minutes that he wasn't able to get for Miami. I've really liked watching Derek Jones play for the last 2 years, so I've been really happy with that acquisition for Portland and how he's been playing and how he's handled the minutes. I really like it.
Yeah.
This is a series of plays that absolutely destroyed my Heat, and I couldn't pick an individual play. But the first quarter of the Bucks versus Heat game, where they blew us out by it was like 40 or 50 odd. The Bucks won 144-97, and they set the NBA record for 3-pointers made in a game with 29. The first quarter, they shot like 80% from 3. And yeah, they couldn't miss. They just couldn't miss. And that whole sequence, if you want to see very bad defending and very good shooting, watch the first quarter of the Heat versus Bucks game. They couldn't miss. And that's like, it is a combination of plays. So it's not necessarily the play of the week, but the way they drew it up and the way that they just absolutely tore us to shreds, us being the Miami Heat. It was... Yeah, that was the play of the week. I was so frustrated watching it, but it was absolutely brilliant.
When a team is hitting all the shots, you can't really do anything.
Drew Holiday hit 3 for 3 in the first quarter, and then he did the same thing the next night, 3 for 3 in the first quarter. And he,
in a back-to-back?
Back-to-back.
Yeah. Miami won that game, though, so they got the revenge.
We won the second one. We got the revenge game. But, they'd been waiting for 5 months, or not even that long, to come back and...
they wanted some smoke for sure. That's a good one, honestly. 144.
It's not a play. I'll come back with a play, but I thought it needed a mention. I thought it was just outstanding. It was some of the best shooting I've ever seen. They ended up with the most 3-pointers in a game, so that's
saying a lot with the way that the shooting has gone in the league. Like, there's a lot of records being set with that.
Yeah. DJ Augustin deserves a mention. He's a hell of a pickup for the Bucks. The other guy that's been shooting lights out for them is Bryn Forbes. Really
Sniper.
Good shooter.
Former Spur.
They've made some good pickups, and Bobby Portis has been one of the 6 Men of the Year candidates.
Crazy eyes.
Yeah, he's been really good, like really, really good.
He's been all right, yeah. But yeah.
Trash of the week. I would be surprised if you had something different.
Okay.
I have the Clippers against the Mavs.
Terrible.
It was atrocious.
I watched the game. Like, I had the time. I set the time aside to watch the game, and then I was like, what a mistake. Do you have anything to note on it? Because I've got some actual stats here.
No, go hit it.
It's worth
really
talking
just
about.
wanted to say that they were absolute trash, garbage, rubbish.
They bounced back.
It was disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, it's the worst loss in franchise history. People have already talked about this.
Yeah.
And it's even more significant to hear that because of the history of futility of that franchise.
Yeah.
Since 1970, they have the second worst winning percentage of all teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
So they have just a history of being bad.
Yeah.
And obviously they've had many seasons under 20 wins, let alone like 25, 30.
Yeah.
So missing the playoffs is not uncommon in Clipperland. But to lose by 51 is just staggering.
Especially with a player like Paul George. That's setting aside the rest of the roster, who, they don't really have a terrible NBA player on their roster. I don't get it. I didn't get it.
They were uninspired.
I didn't get it.
It was like they were hungover or something. They came in hungover or something.
It was just bad. They just weren't there. They didn't defend anything.
Yeah.
They didn't there was no movement offensively. It was trash. It was trash.
Trash of the week.
The title is deserved.
Yeah.
We should get them a little award.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Clippers.
Well done, Clips. Good job. We're going to dive into our top 5, our power rankings for NBA teams so far in the season. It's very early to make these kinds of rankings and ratings without first saying that these are not an indication of who we believe the best team in the NBA is.
It's just right now.
This is just like right now who we look at and go, okay, well, right now they're the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
But they won't finish the season up there, or they might, but yeah. Anyway, the point is that these are our interpretation of the current season rankings.
Correct.
Based off results so far, where the team's trending, and how everything looks, big picture. So let's start off with an honourable mention, a team that just missed the cut for us. We were actually talking about it up until a minute before the podcast. Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
They have been really, really good, but the schedule kind of put us both in a position where we were like, they're probably not good enough to make it just yet.
Overall, when you look at the other teams that we put in versus what they've done, I mean, their record is tied for the best in the league as we're recording this.
Yep.
But yeah, they beat the Knicks, they beat the Bulls, they beat the Celtics in an exciting game. Sabonis had a game winner, but then they lost to the Celtics and they beat the Cavs. So 4 wins against, the Celtics are the outlier there. The Cavs have played well, but they're going to regress big time shortly. They've lost like 2-3 in a row since starting out undefeated.
Yeah.
They look great overall, the Pacers. I just wanted to give them some credit.
Oladipo's look good.
They'd be number 6, basically.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yep.
But yeah, Oladipo's done really well. Sabonis is looking like a quicker Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
If Nikola Jokic had better foot speed. But Jokic...
That's a big call, but he has looked really good. Like his ability to create for his teammates is something that, everyone's talked about for years, but I think now we're going, he actually can. Like, he's doing it regularly. That was a big thing for Sabonis, was that consistency. He's averaging a double-double as well as 5 assists.
7 assists.
7. There you go, 7. Yeah. Even more than I thought. So I've been really happy with how they've played, and they just missed the cut, which is sad because I would have liked to see the Pacers there. Yeah. More East representation, which would have been nice.
Yeah.
All right, at number 5, who we got, Macca?
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Top 3, yeah.
They have the best net rating in the league.
Yep.
They lost to the Clippers opening night, but then they beat the Mavs, they beat the T-Wolves, and they beat the Spurs. They lost to the Blazers, but we have them in there because they're the Lakers. They would clearly beat the Pacers in a game or in multiple games in a row.
Yeah.
So just on that argument alone, the Lakers have to be in there. They've looked very cohesive, even though they've lost a couple games. They haven't been blown out yet. They've played competitive every single game. Davis hasn't even played every game.
Yeah.
So they're just getting things together, but they already look really good together.
They're still working out rotations, bringing in as many guys as they did. It's been really difficult for them to have Gasol and Harrell on the court.
Impossible almost.
Yeah, so... Yeah, they're just working out the rotations. I think, give it, another 2 weeks or so and they'll be fine. They'll be right back up in
they're going to skyrocket.
The top 3. Yep.
Exactly. Number 4. Who's number 4, Josh?
I got Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Brooklyn Nets. They're playing great. Overall, really, really good. Like, it's been really surprising to see how well they've actually played with, 2 new superstars on a team who haven't played together, just came together and knocked down shots day one. They've both been averaging pretty much exactly the same numbers.
Their stats are scary close.
There you go.
And we're going to talk about that a bit in the next segment, but they're killing it for sure.
I think the only thing that pulls them down the list is the defensive lapses. They were really poor against Charlotte, like really, really poor against Charlotte. So to have them, lose back-to-back against Charlotte and the Grizzlies is a blip on what's otherwise a really, really good start to the season.
I agree. Yeah, they beat the hell out of the Warriors in the season opener. Then they beat the Celtics, which was a pretty decent game. And they also beat the Hawks, which we talked about earlier. It was a fun game to watch. The only other thing I would say that brings them down is their record. And this is super early, small sample size, but they have a top 5 offense and defensive rating on both ends. Now, they have had the lapses like you talked about, and they should have beat the Grizzlies. They should have beat the Hornets.
Yeah.
I think the Hornets played much better than they actually are, but they showed their potential in that game.
Yep.
In an exciting game again.
And that was a really
offense.
good game for Hayward.
Yeah, they had 28.
Yeah, 28, 7, and 5 or something like that. It was, crazy stat line.
Good to see Gordo back at it.
But that shows his potential for the Hornets, who aren't in our top 5.
Nope.
But they deserve a mention after beating the Nets. They've actually had a couple of really good games. So, But the Nets are our number 4. Who we got at 3, Macca?
Philadelphia 76ers.
Which is surprising.
Playing good. 4-1. I was a bit surprised how quickly they've come out of the gates. They beat the Wizards, the Knicks, the Raptors, and the Magic, who the Magic have played pretty well as well. They have the 3rd best defensive rating in the league right now, which I was kind of expecting them to have a good defense because they have all the talent for that.
Yep.
And the coaching staff has really done a good job with that team.
Yep.
They're taking things more seriously this year, it feels like. Joel Embiid's not messing around too much.
I think that's the Doc Rivers effect.
I think so.
He's a really serious dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a professional dude.
Yeah.
He understands how to deal with his players for the most part. And I mean, Paul George is an exception to that rule, but nonetheless, he's done really well with that team. Changes might happen to the roster, but for now, it looks really good, honestly. Simmons is playing as a big guy who can handle the rock, obviously. He's not he's not a prototypical point guard by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But he is still their ball handler, but he's also playing the big spot on the other end. So they've kind of shifted things around a bit and they put him in a better position to be successful.
Yep.
And then, like you said, he's hitting threes or hit A3, hopefully.
A3.
Hopefully that becomes more consistent because it's super important for that team.
The fact that he ran to the corner to take a catch and shoot 3 is something he hasn't done his whole career. So you did it once. But, the fact that he actively ran to the corner to take a spot up 3 is a good sign for the 76ers.
Absolutely.
And I think the additions of Seth Curry, you can see how much attention he draws on offense. Furkan Korkmaz has been good off the bench.
Shake
Milton's been good off the bench. So just to get that rotation with shooters off the bench.
Dwight Howard. They have a good bench.
Lights out.
Yeah.
So to get them, a really good rotation has been one of their biggest issues for years. So getting rid of Brett Brown and bringing in, Doc Rivers has made a huge difference to the attitude, but also bringing in a new GM to change the rotation there has also made a huge difference.
Arguably the best GM and a GM with a lot of connections.
Yeah.
One of the smartest guys in the league. So good for them. Number 2, who we got?
Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
I've loved watching them. I think they're one of the most
for real this year.
Entertaining teams in the league.
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges is the Bridges they have. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. I always get those two Bridges confused.
They are, I can see why. Their name is almost
Miles
exactly the same.
Micah Bridges.
Mikal, yeah.
Mikal, yeah. See, I just made up a third one. But
Micah.
He's really, really good defensively, really long, super athletic, and he's really come a long way this year. Shooting, he's been tremendous. Really was the 3rd shooter that they needed on that roster.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, and Ayton has come a long way defensively this season, shown a huge amount of defensive impact.
Absolutely.
Could potentially end up in the Defensive Player of the Year rate.
Interesting.
At the end of the year.
I think actually Mikal Bridges will be in that conversation ahead of Ayton, but
right.
both of them potentially because their defense is going to be top notch. I think it's a Chris Paul effect, honestly.
Yeah,
the level of just professionalism and
accountability too.
Exactly, it brings it to the table, and everybody else has to fall in line. And I think he'll actually mesh well with that team. Like he didn't rub James Harden quite the right way in that sort of relationship.
Yeah,
but Chris Paul is a better fit for this team, and he also has Monty Williams as the head coach, who they've worked together in the past. It's just a good fit. It's going to work out pretty well for them. Number 1 defensive rating in the league.
Yep.
2nd best net rating behind the Lakers. They've had some impressive wins, to be honest. They've had a tougher schedule than, for example, the Pacers. The Suns are 4-1. They beat the Mavs, the Kings, the Pelicans, and the Jazz. They lost a game to the Kings, which is a bit of a blip, but the Suns, like
the Kings are a really good team.
Yeah, like, it's not to take away from the Kings.
Yeah, absolutely. That one loss, that Suns team, the Kings aren't, top 5, top 10, but they're there or thereabouts. They'll be pushing the playoff race in the West with the way that they've started the season too. So the Suns had a challenge there, and I think the Kings were just better on the night. It was nothing more than that. When Chris Paul finds his shot again, they'll go to another level. At the moment, he hasn't had to shoot because they're 4-1. He hasn't had to do anything other than find open guys and
Facilitate.
get good open shots.
Yeah.
And his assist numbers are really good, and defensive impact. Obviously, they went from one of the worst defensive teams in the league to one of the best currently. So yeah, really impressed with the Suns so far.
Absolutely,
really impressed.
They're good to watch too, so keep an eye on Phoenix.
We have a surprising number one, Macca. We have a surprising number one.
I think, considering we just bashed them earlier.
Saying that they were the trash of the week.
Trash of the week, and they managed to jump to number one on the power ranking for teams. The Los Angeles, don't add us, please. The Los Angeles Clippers at 4-1. So despite the 51-point loss, they're honestly playing really good basketball.
Yep.
I can't say I'm a big Clipper fan for different reasons.
Same.
I don't want to get into it too much.
Yep.
But you have to give them credit. They're playing good basketball. Lou Williams came out and said that they're playing together. Ty Lue has them playing like trusting basketball, where everybody's accountable, everybody's on the same page. They look like they've taken things pretty seriously after what happened in the playoffs against Denver.
Yep.
As I said, they need to use it for motivation.
Yeah.
So I think they listened to our podcast and they went, wow, this is really hitting home.
Well, they obviously listened to our podcast because we saw what Terry Rozier did a couple of weeks ago, and he heard me say we're never going to see Scary Terry again. And since then, he's dunked on Kevin Durant, had a 40-piece, and just destroyed the league basically single-handedly.
Well, don't give away the player power rankings just yet.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Whoop. My bad.
Rewind. But Clippers, number one. They beat the Lakers, Nuggets, T-Wolves, and the Blazers.
Yeah, really good wins.
And then, of course, the aforementioned 51-point blowout. But nonetheless, Kawhi looked
Small
okay.
blip. Just a little blip on an otherwise
Isn't that weird?
really good start of the year.
It's just like win, destroyed. Oh, let's get back to winning again.
They were missing Kawhi. That's very important to mention. Paul George has had, a pretty good start to this season.
Consistent.
He needs to stay at that level. The game against the Mavs was absolutely
awful.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
But aside from that one game, that team has looked like the best team in the league to this point.
Agreed. Yeah. They are, they're on fire right now. And Kawhi looked pretty decent after coming back from the Ibaka elbow.
Yep.
And actually, just to shout out Ibaka, he's a really good fit on that team.
Yeah.
Much better fit than Zubac was in the starting
100%.
lineup.
Yeah.
Just stretching the floor. They basically play 5 out. And it's really working well for them.
Yep, because it gives Kawhi a lane.
And Paul George.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Beverly wants to handle the rock as well, we don't recommend it, but it can happen.
Please don't.
Yeah. That was the team's power rankings.
Let us know what you think. If you have your own power rankings, please leave them in the comments, or add us on social media and let us know what your power rankings are. These will change fortnightly. We will not do these weekly because it's too hard to have a week of basketball and then change your entire power rankings. I think 2 weeks is a better sample size. So that's our team power rankings for episode 6 of the Shootaround podcast.
Yeah.
Let's move on to players, Macca.
All right.
Who have you got at 5?
So at 5, I've got a tie, actually.
Yeah, wow.
Kevin Durant / Kyrie Irving. Now, we talked about this earlier with the Brooklyn Nets as the number whatever they were in the team's ranking. Now, I have them tied because their stats are virtually the same. Like you can run through all of them as we're recording. That is, it might change with
it's basically 5 and 6 interchangeably is probably the best way to put it.
Something like that. Yeah,
those two you can move between either position because they're both top 5 NBA players. We didn't really want to leave them out.
It's tough.
But so far this season, they've been absolutely fantastic.
I mean, I'll just give you some quick stats here. They're both tied for 4th in scoring. They're virtually the same net rating for players playing 30 minutes or more. They have the same usage rate, which is kind of funny. And Kyrie has more assists per game, slightly, like 2 or 3, and a better assist to turnover ratio. I would actually give a slight edge to Durant because of his defensive impact and versatility. But other than that, yeah, we just kind of have them as like a duo for number 5.
I think the other thing to mention is Durant would be higher, but having him come back from that injury, he has shown a little bit of rustiness, mainly on the defensive side of the ball. A couple of lapses defensively,
Sometimes
which
he
we've
does.
talked about before. He was, given the work by Gordon Hayward and dunked on by Terry Rozier. He's been dunked on 3 times this year, which you never see. He's a 7-footer.
He's challenging
who's
shots
super
at least.
athletic, but yeah, he's getting up there and challenging shots. So, but yeah. I thought that they were interchangeable at that spot, which is why, we had them tied.
Absolutely.
Number 3, we have Joel Embiid, who has had arguably the best start to the season of his career. Excellent on the offensive side of the ball. Actually been looking to get to the rim first.
Sorry, just to cut you off, it was number 4. It's just the number 3 off.
Oh, did I say number 3?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Pets.
I knew you were going to do that.
We'll start over.
Yep. All right. You go. You start it off.
No worries. Number 4 on the list is Joel Embiid for the Sixers. He started off the season really well, leading the team alongside Ben Simmons. He's averaging 27 and 13 on 52% shooting, 38 from 3 and 80% from the free throw line. Really good numbers, to be honest. He usually shoots under 50 from the field because he's always taking jumpers with Simmons in the way. But that scheme has changed, as we talked about. They've got a more competent system that they're running with those players.
A lot more inside out, which has really helped Embiid open up his game. Having, lethal shooters on the perimeter has been huge. Seth Curry, he's easy to find, which is why his assist numbers have actually looked pretty good. His turnover rate's gone down as well. He's looked really good. Really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And, it's testament to Doc Rivers just telling him to stop taking pull-up mid-range jumpers when you're 7'3".
That's right.
So, yeah.
Get in the paint and be Shaq, or be more like Shaq.
Yeah.
And less like whoever you were before. Not a great player.
He's looked fantastic. I'm really happy with, actually seeing Joel Embiid play inside. It's been good for a change.
It's good to see for that team, yeah. So number 3, who do we got?
Demantis Sabonis.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely sensational NBA player.
As I said, Eastern Conference Nikola Jokic, which is a tall statement, but nonetheless, he's averaging 22, 11, and 7 as we record. The offense is running through him.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that with the Pacers earlier, but he's like the point guard, technically, in the half court. Obviously, Oladipo and Malcolm Brogdon are technically the floor generals for the team, but Sabonis has been doing everything. Like, he's an amazing player to watch.
His IQ, the way he sees the game is, it's probably more typical of European players, the way he plays.
He has great DNA, first of all. I mean, Arvydas Sabonis is one of the smartest basketball players ever, and he was a 7'2" guy.
Yep.
So a big guy with skills. It's pretty impressive to watch. He plays with passion as well. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
He did the game winner, and he was like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
He was flexing.
Yeah.
He probably looked a lot better than I did.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
I might save that. That might be the
that should be our avatar.
the episode clip.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic player. Really opened up the floor, and I think that's testament to the new coach, former Raps assistant.
Yeah.
Nate Bjorken. Did I say that right?
I think you almost got it. It's Bjorkgren. There's an R in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Whatever. Sorry, Nate.
We're so good with names.
Just call him Nate.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic player. Really opened up the floor. Miles Turner's numbers have improved, and I think that's testament to the way that Sabonis has been playing, allowing more inside game from Miles Turner. But yeah, it's they've been really good, and a lot of that has to do with the way that Sabonis has started this season.
Yeah, 4-1, looking really good. They're going to need even more out of him, or obviously other people, with TJ Warren now being out, unfortunately. But keep an eye on Sabonis. I think he's one to watch for MVP. Number 2.
This is a tough one. This was a flip of the coin job again.
Number 1 and number 2, we mean the flip of the coin.
Yeah.
Number 2, we agreed on Trae Young for the Atlanta Hawks, who's been playing outstanding. Bringing up the argument of him versus Doncic has gotten
just about to say
tiny bit tighter.
Yeah.
Most people would still pick Doncic, but yeah, he's averaging 33 and 8 assists, 33 points, 8 assists. He's just a quick random stat, second in player impact estimate, which is now one of the most prominent advanced stats out there.
Yep.
It's a kind of an amalgamation of different stats put together to evaluate a player's impact.
Yep.
Roughly. He's among players averaging 30 minutes, he's second in offensive rating. He's fifth in true shooting. The Hawks are 3-1 as we're recording here. I think he's a better candidate, just to jump on your old hot take, better candidate to lead the league in scoring than Ja Morant is.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that with the Morant injury. Yeah. I think prior to that, he's a sniper. And he's getting to the free throw line. He's averaging 15 free throws a game, which is a big jump for him. I don't know if that's sustainable, but it's a good sign for his game. Yeah. So he's doing all the little things. He's playing really well. I look at him now like he's kind of like Kemba Walker on steroids. Like he's a really, really like a blown out version of Kemba Walker. And that's a good thing.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
You can't help but watch him. He's just dynamic.
It's a bit like Steph Curry's MVP season, the way he started this one. I think the measurables don't even tell you how good Trae Young's been this year. With such a young team around him, they're still waiting on all of those pieces to kind of fall into place. We're yet to see Gallinari. And that could take away some points from Trae, but at the same time, the way he finds his shot and the way he's been getting to the line, and also the assist numbers. So the usage to assist to turnovers is incredible. It's something that we haven't seen in the NBA before. But yeah, he's been enormous and almost got the number 1 spot. Almost.
Again, very nearly a coin flip. Yeah. Number 1, let us know who it is, Josh.
It's Nikola Jokic, the Joker. The Joker. This was a really hard one because of the Nuggets record. But
it's hard to take away what he's done.
I couldn't. That's why he's there.
He's amazing, honestly. I've got some stats here. 25, 12, and 14 assists.
Amazing.
He's leading the league in assists, which is incredible.
He's 7 foot.
Yeah, and he's not exactly lightning quick.
Yeah.
He has looked quicker this year, though. He's definitely lost some weight. Yeah. Some kilos/pounds have been dropped off.
I think it's deceptive because of his height as well. So I think when you see him moving, it's a bit like Dirk. You'd watch him and you're like, he's the slowest player in the world.
It's a bit lumbering.
And then he'd run someone down and you'd like, how did that happen?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the height's deceptive as far as his speed goes. But just dominant. And that doesn't even describe it. He runs the entire offense for the Nuggets through him. Defensively has been better this year, but the way he's been getting his shots, looking for his own shot is something that he always struggled with, but just come into this season blazing.
He's found a good little happy medium with a lot of stuff. Yeah. He just controls the game. If the Nuggets don't have him, I don't know what they're going to do. It's really that. It comes down to that for you and I think.
Absolutely.
His most valuable player is immeasurable. Yeah. So congrats to Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, he's our number 1 player. So Nikola, you can come by the house and collect your award anytime you want.
Yeah, it's just a biscuit. It's just a cookie.
Literally just a
chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, a Tim Tam.
You'd probably enjoy it too.
Yeah, but you would enjoy a Tim Tam, but then you might lose the speed.
Well, I was going to say the team health manager's not going to like a Tim Tam.
Not happy at all.
No.
Yeah, let us know what you think about the player rankings. Tell us who you had at number 1. Who should we have had higher? Who should not be on our list? And who did we miss?
Yeah, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah,
please add us.
Absolutely love to.
Yeah, please add us.
We would love to get into a very deep, long-winded discussion with you about who you think should be on our list.
Exactly.
That you had nothing to do with. So here we go. Let's look at the rookies. I'm really excited about this one. I love talking about rookies.
It's a good list, man. I'll lead us out here.
Yeah.
We've got an honorable mention. There's just 3 guys that have played really well. Someone, first of all, I had never heard of until I started watching him play.
Really?
Peyton Pritchard.
He's been really good, man.
For the Boston
Celtics. In college as well. Really good point guard. Just your prototypical, prototypical point guard, the way he plays, the way he finds open guys, the way he leads the offense. Very entertaining to watch. And surprisingly, just stepped into that role for the Celtics and basically made Jeff Teague's acquisition obsolete pretty quick too.
Potentially,
Teague
yeah.
started the year hot for the Celtics, and now his minutes are on the decline with the way that Pritchard's been playing, and I don't blame the Celtics because Pritchard has been excellent.
Doing more for them. And then when Kemba Walker's back, I think he'll continue to take those minutes.
Yeah.
Including the playoffs, probably.
100%. I agree.
I think, I don't want to jump into an obvious comparison, but he looks a lot like TJ McConnell in terms of play style. He's like
better 3-point shooter.
6 feet tall.
But
running the offense. Yeah, good for Peyton Pritchard. Also, Denny Avdia, Washington
Fantastic.
Wizards. He's been playing really well.
Does everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, does everything. And you'll only see his minutes go up, hopefully, when the Wizards realise that the other players that they actually have getting the minutes aren't very good. Let's go Denny Avdia. I'm big on Denny finishing the season in the Rookie of the Year race. He just needs to get his hands on the ball more and stop watching Russell Westbrook play, because that's pretty much all the Wizards are doing.
That's going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
That is the plan.
Yep.
Patrick Williams also missed the cut. He's somebody that I wasn't high on in the draft episode that we did.
Really good defensively.
But there was a preseason game, and he's played well in the regular season as well. But I just remember watching a preseason game where he was hitting jump shots. Everything looked smooth, and I was like, wow, I was dead wrong on this guy.
Yeah.
And I'll own it. So, Patrick Williams just missed the cut, but I'm sure he'll be in the discussion in the coming weeks.
The one that I had just missing the cut was Isaac Okoro for Cleveland. With the way that Cleveland started the year, they've kind of come back to earth a little bit. He was a big reason why they started the season so hot. So, let's get into it, mate. Who you got at 5?
Just a quick note. Isaac Okoro is leading all rookies in minutes per game. He's averaging 37 minutes a game.
Incredible.
Which is insane.
Yeah, unheard of.
I saw that stat and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So number 5, we've got Lamello Ball, who's
way
hooping.
better the last 2 weeks. Last 2 games, not 2 weeks. Last 2 games.
Yeah.
Much, much better. Finding his shot, not scared to pull the trigger, even, being on the closeout or guarded. He's actually looking for his shot.
Confident.
Which is the way you want LaMelo Ball to play. Big confidence guy, much better scorer than his brother. He's been fantastic.
Yeah,
really,
he's
really
just exciting to watch. He's averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists so far. Those numbers are going to improve. Among rookies who are averaging 20 minutes a game, he's second in assist ratio. He's 5th in scoring and rebounding. And he's shooting 53% from downtown.
Yeah,
so he's
impressive.
Doing probably better than people expected out of him.
Oh, much better.
He's a great player. As I said last week, he's the best draft pick Michael Jordan's ownership era has ever made. And that's
and he's still growing. That's the thing. He's already 6'7", should be 6'8" soon.
You think so?
Yeah, man. Yeah. He's still growing. He's only 21. So, man, he's got a long way to go. But yeah, LaMelo Ball is very impressive, and I wouldn't be surprised in 2 weeks that he'd be up at number 2. Or 1. He's really, really good. So
I think one thing with rookies generally is the impact he makes on the team is the most important factor.
Yeah.
Some years you have just a bunch of crap teams with good rookies, and you have to pick from a pile of garbage. But this year, I think that there's going to be some rookies that lead this list that are actually impacting winning.
Definitely.
So LaMelo is one to watch out for that one. And number 4, who we got?
James Wiseman.
Yeah.
This one was another flip of the coin job with LaMelo Ball. Probably interchangeable at the 4 and 5. But yeah, James Wiseman has been the best big to come out of the draft to this point.
Monster.
Yeah, really, really good at doing his job, which is all he had to do on a Warriors team that's that good. They have a long way to go before, as a team they come together. But I think the addition of Wiseman has been really important for them.
Yeah.
As a rookie, he's first in rebounds per game and he's second in points per game, just behind Anthony Edwards, who was the first overall pick. His shots looked really good. He runs the floor for a big man as well.
It's crazy.
He's very athletic, very athletic.
Yeah. Actually, my runner-up for play of the week was he blocked a shot. I think it was Mason Plumlee on the Pistons.
Yep.
Grabbed the board, dribbled down, in traffic, dunked on everybody.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had handles like that. And he ran the floor pretty quickly. When he's running in transition, he's like a deer. He just runs the floor so fast.
I think as a rookie, the thing he needs to do more is know when to give the ball up.
Yeah.
His turnovers aren't great. When he does turn the ball over, it's pretty,
Ugly.
It's pretty ugly, yeah. So he just needs to know to find his spot and then to know when to give up the ball, but that's something that'll come in time. But Wiseman's going to be a really good big in the NBA. But yeah, I like him at the 4 spot.
I think I made a note of this. I think he looks like DeAndre Jordan with more skills and a jump shot.
Yeah.
Like, just physically, he's incredible to watch. Him and Ayton reminds me a lot of him as well, or vice versa. But yeah, that was number 4.
He's actually had a really good leader in Draymond Green. There's a couple of clips that have come out where Draymond's talking to him on the sideline, telling him to do something slightly different. And then the next play, he'll try and do it.
That's good to see.
Which is really good for the Warriors. It's a really good sign of what they have going forward. And that shows that Draymond's value is more than what he does on the court. And I think that he's trying to prove his worth as far as the contract that they gave him all those years ago. That's not looking so great, but when he does things like that, you kind of look at it in a different light. So yeah, that was number 4, James Wiseman.
Yeah.
Who we got at 3, Macca?
Anthony Edwards, as we mentioned before, he's leading the league in scoring. Sorry. Whoa. Not yet.
Whoa.
He's leading rookies in scoring. Sorry.
Hot take.
Yeah. 15 point. Imagine someone led the league with 15 points per game in 2021.
That'd be me.
Div 5.
Yeah.
So leading rookies in scoring at 15 points per game.
Yeah.
He looks confident in every move and every shot.
Yeah.
There was one game I watched in particular. He played against Utah where he was just like grown man moving every player that was defending him. It was just like, oh, okay, I'm in the post now. Okay, dribble, fade away. Easy. Yeah. And it just looks smooth. To me, he's already making Malik Beasley and Jarrett Culver, for that matter, expendable.
Yep.
If someone wants to take on Beasley's contract, that's another story. He also might steal your girl as well, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he's looked really good, Anthony
Especially
Edwards
if you're
has.
an ex-NBA player.
Yeah.
Watch out.
An ex-NBA legend, particularly, watch out. But yeah, I think Minnesota, the thing with him that I think is going to help his stats, he's on a bottom dweller team.
Yeah.
There was a quote that came out, I was going to bring this up, but Ricky Rubio wasn't super happy with the way the team's been playing. Like, he was quoted as saying it's been pretty bad. And I mean, Edwards is on a team where he's going to get a lot of shots up.
Yep.
So his stats are probably going to look good.
They'll be bloated, inflated.
Hopefully he's not an empty stats guy.
Yep.
I don't think he will be. But he's looked really good.
I like his production so far. But yeah,
that's the thing. You can't ignore the production.
Yeah. Perspective is important here. And he's playing on a team that, they're bad. They're not a good team. They need to decide what they're going to do moving forward, whether they keep, Edwards as the guy and have to move off other pieces. Who knows? But yeah, the roster's not going to work there the way it is, or, moving forward, having Edwards, Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell.
They've just got too many wings to me. Like, they need to clear up some space to let other guys play more.
Yeah,
I'd keep Edwards for sure.
Yeah,
ahead of Culver, Malik Beasley.
Well, he's the best winger best wing on the roster. So whatever you want to do with everyone else there, that's Timberwolves' decision. But Edwards is the one you want to keep for his upside. He's probably got a lot more improvement to make, and he can't create shots for other people yet. But I expect him to be able to do that soon.
Yeah, that's not going to be his focus for the rookie year. I think he's focused on scoring and showing out a bit in his minutes. Just quickly on the T-Wolves, I think the head coach there, Ryan Saunders, he's going to be on the hot seat as well.
Yeah.
Although I just had a thought that maybe the Timberwolves are going to do like fade for Cade. try to get Cade Cunningham. So
Yeah.
they're going to be bad on purpose.
Yep.
And he might be a good coach for that type of season, unfortunately, because sometimes they hire coaches who are unproven just to lead a bad team.
Yep.
It's kind of the way the NBA works.
Yep.
But nonetheless, I think he'll be on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Number 2, this is a guy, again, similar to Peyton Pritchard. It must be a point guard thing because there's just a glut of them. I had never heard of Cole Anthony, and he played for North Carolina, which is...
Greg Anthony's son.
Are you
GA.
serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's GA's son.
He's already better than his dad. So, I mean, there you go. I did not know that.
Cole Anthony was sensational in preseason. Like,
Oh, yeah, he was good.
really, really, really good. And I remember watching, they played the Heat in preseason. I remember watching that game and just sitting back watching in awe of how good he was and how he got his own shot. The mid-range shot is definitely where he's most comfortable, but his ability to get outside and create shots off the dribble from 3 is promising for, that kind of player. He's a guy that could go on to average like 28 points, high 20s. He has that kind of spark plug offense.
Yeah.
Plug him in and off he goes. So to see him create as early as he has is a really good sign going forward for the Magic. And he's someone that you'd want to have probably next to Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
And have 2 point guards in the backfield because Markelle Fultz can pretty much guard 1 through 3. So you're not losing anything defensively there.
Agreed.
But yeah, I really like Cole Anthony. I think he's been sensational.
He's plugged right in.
Really
They had to replace DJ Augustin, who was signed by Milwaukee, and he was the backup guard, and they just drafted Cole Anthony and like, no worries, we got Cole Anthony now.
Yeah.
We'll just move on from Augustin. And he was, to me, he'll be the runner-up for steal of the draft to an obvious pick. We'll talk about it in just a second. He was drafted at 15th overall. He's 6th in scoring and 2nd in assists per game for all rookies as a bench player. He's 2nd in net rating among all rookies playing 20 minutes per game or more. I think that shows a lot about his impact on the game.
Yeah.
And he plays with a mature pace and understanding of the game. He gets to the rim really well. As you said, he's got a mid-range game. So good for Cole Anthony.
He sees the game differently to a lot of these rookies. And that's something you only really pick up on when the real season starts, and their ability to kind of slow things down and assess the situation and then make a decision from there, whether pass, shoot,
For sure.
or back out and find another option. So yeah, Cole Anthony's been, definitely one of the steals of the draft.
For sure. Now, speaking of steals of the draft, we've talked about this at great length.
My homer corner,
Yeah.
my favorite rookie this season, by far. Just absolutely superb.
And no bias in this pick based on
None
what he
at
just
all.
said.
No.
The number 1 rookie right now and probably going to win Rookie of the Year is Tyreese Halliburton. I mean, he's been sensational. Just watching him play has been a joy.
Fantastic.
He's getting minutes on a significant competitive team.
Yep.
He's 3rd in minutes among all rookies, which says a lot. And he's
Deserved every minute too. They're not just putting him out there to develop. He's literally made that spot his own.
They're giving him the right to make decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. He carries the ball up the court a lot of the time, and has been a better point guard option than De'Aaron Fox in some situations.
I agree.
So yeah, Halliburton, unbelievable so far this year. Just really just grabbed the game by the horns and made it his own.
Absolutely. I think the thing with him, I like to do 2 ways of evaluating player. You have the stats and you have the eye test.
Yeah.
And he's passed both with flying colors.
Yeah.
I mean, just stats-wise, he's leading all rookies in assists, assist-to-turnover ratio, blowing everyone away with 76% effective field goal percentage.
Only takes good shots. That's what I love about him. That's something that NBA teams were worried about when he came into the league, is his ability to adapt to the NBA. He's got a weird-looking jumper, but
it is a bit wonky looking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
it's kind of off to the side, but it works because he's shooting 50% from 3.
knocking it down.
So yeah, look, he's a fantastic player, and he fit into the Kings system brilliantly, and he's making Luke Walton look like a really good NBA coach.
He's keeping Luke Walton in a job.
Yeah, he is. He is.
The other thing with him too is he's averaging 9 minutes a game in the 4th quarter, And you pointed out to me he has 0 turnovers. In all fourth quarters so far.
Yep.
For I believe 3-2 Kings team that's looked feisty.
And he's shooting 50% in the fourth quarter from 3 and almost 60% from 2 in the fourth quarter. So the minutes that matter and the time that matters, he's on the court and not making mistakes, not taking bad shots, and has carried the ball most of the fourth quarter. You know, like I remember watching the Suns game with you last week, and De'Aaron Fox made a couple of errors back to back, and it was like, just give the ball to Halliburton.
Exactly.
Like,
isn't that weird?
Just let him play.
This guy who just got paid like a massive contract extension, we're telling him to give the ball to the rookie. Yeah. It says a lot.
It does. He's been. I don't think the stats even do it justice. If you have not watched Halliburton play, get on it.
Yeah,
just
the eye
watch a Kings
test
game. He's sensational. Just makes all the plays you could ask from a vet, and he's doing it as a rookie. He definitely deserved to be taken much higher, but I said that after draft night. I was really annoyed that teams didn't take him, and I don't know how you miss out on a talent like that.
I don't get it either.
Like, doesn't make any sense. But
it happens. But
just sensational. Like, really, really good. And you know, he's not even that high on usage rate. Like, he still could develop.
That's right.
Could go even further. And that's, as a rookie, he's 12th in rookie usage rate ratings. So
12th among all rookies, yeah. 1, 2, 3 is Edwards Anthony, Cole Anthony, and James Wiseman. So the fact that Halliburton's number 1 for us with all the stats that back it up, and he's playing significant minutes, but also only 12th among rookies in usage rating, is pretty crazy.
Yeah, sensational. So watch Tyreese Halliburton. That's our takeaway for this week. If you don't agree with anything else we say, please just do that for us.
Advice corner.
Yeah.
Watch Tyreese Halliburton.
Advice corner.
I'm buying, like I talked to my girlfriend the other day, and I went, look, I know we're saving to buy a home, but we need to buy stock in Tyreese Halliburton. So we emptied the savings account, and we've got Halliburton stock now.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
It's on the way up. He's going to get a max contract as soon as he's available. He will. He just will.
Yeah. Year 2, Vlade Divac is going to be like, can we do this now?
Is it too early?
Yeah. What's too early?
Yeah, he's making Buddy Hield's life a lot harder, and he's probably making De'Aaron Fox look a little bit overpaid.
I was going to say, somehow he's making both of those guys' lives harder and easier.
Yeah.
At the same time, because he's making the game easier for everybody, but he's making their spot on the roster.
He's also improved the numbers of the big guys
expendable.
on the roster too. Like the big guys are actually putting up really good numbers as well.
Holmes.
Yeah, Rashawn Holmes is probably having his best season to date. I haven't got the statistics in front of me, of course. This is the Shootaround Podcast, not the Statistics Podcast. But
or any other professional podcast.
Yeah, it's just literally, talking about stuff. But the fact that he's made that Kings team that much better, and it's obviously not all about him, but the difference that he makes when he's on the court, it's
can't even exaggerate it.
It's really plain to see. As soon as he's out on that court, the defense changes, the offense changes, and the ability to read the game on the defensive end, the IQ is so high for a rookie. The steals, the ability to get to loose balls, the hustle, all of that immeasurable stuff.
Exactly.
He's been absolutely sensational. So, he's the number 1 probably by a long way at this point of the season. I don't think anyone else even comes close to the on-court production. And that's not, points per game, as we said. That's not all of the box score stuff. That's just him on the court. It's just such a big difference for those Kings.
And just going forward with the Kings, if they continue to be a borderline playoff team in the Western Conference, and he's doing what he's doing, that's going to say a lot for his case. Cole Anthony, again, he's number 2. In terms of impact on the game, I think those two are having the biggest impact, but Halliburton is by far our number 1 rookie so far. So congrats to him.
Yeah.
Please continue to grow my stock, Tyreese. I really appreciate it. And my girlfriend will as well.
Yeah, she will. She won't be happy if he falls off a cliff, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And that's metaphorically speaking, not literally. I would never wish that on anyone.
Especially not Tyreese.
No. All right. I think that'll do us for the Shootaround Podcast this week. If you liked what we said, please let us know. We like to know that you like us. If you didn't like what we said, keep it to yourself and go see a counsellor or something and let them know that you don't like our podcast. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, watching, however you digest our absolutely appalling takes. We appreciate every one of you.
Yes.
Hope you had a good New Year, safe New Year. All the best, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.